Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court on Blue Haze Dreamers. I'm super excited to bring to you today an episode about the NBA Finals and an episode about UFC. So kind of a little bit combination of a little bit of both. Today with me I have a co-founder of the channel, Zach Pate. How you doing, Zach? It's been a minute since you've been on a podcast. You know what you've been up to? Tell the viewers, what you got going on in your life.
I'm doing good, man. I've been on my own fight journey. I had my first official kickboxing match May 15th. It's on the channel. If you guys want to check it out, you can click on the channel, check it out. I'm gonna start putting more content out in terms of my fighting stuff. And I was thinking about doing I like what you got going with your basketball podcast. I was thinking about doing like a fight-based podcast where I talk about the fights coming up, kind of what we're gonna do in this episode, and about my own fights. My own, training and stuff like that. So yeah, I really just been focusing on my martial arts stuff.
Absolutely, that's great to hear, and I'm glad that you guys can also view his journey and kind of the Blue Haze, the way of the warrior, and so it's super cool to see. You come from the first episode to where you are now, and so many more episodes to go.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna dive right into it. So today we're gonna talk about the NBA Finals to start off, and so I kind of want to just talk about how they were able to get there, who was in it, who won the Finals MVP, and what kind of stats they had, and what we kind of both thought of this series. So first of all, we just want to congratulate the Milwaukee Bucks on winning a championship since 1974, I believe, with Kareem and Oscar Robertson. So super exciting. They deserved it. I do have to say, I believe that they were the better team in this series right here. I know a lot of people, especially me, wanted Chris Paul to win, wanted him to get that ring finally after being in the league for, I believe, 16 years he's been in the league. And so, it's just been really cool to see that. But, if you just, we'll kind of break it down a little bit, but the Bucks were just a better team on paper. They were a better team with, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis. Let's see, depending on the game, I think it was PJ Tucker and then Brook Lopez. I think that was the starting five for a lot of the games. And so, my main thing came down to who's going to guard Giannis at the end of the day. And Zach, kind of give your thoughts before we kind of jump into the stats here. What did you think of this series before it started, while it was kind of going on, and then, who won it?
Man, when Phoenix went up 2-0, I know we were talking about how, a lot of the media, they kind of jumped to conclusions very fast. So a lot of people were saying this series was over, and they were basically handing Chris Paul his ring, all this stuff. And as much as I would have liked to see that, you got to finish the job. You can't just go up 2-0 and hang a banner.
Absolutely, no. It takes four to win it.
And it takes, 8 to 10 good players on a team. You can't just have 2 or 3 good players. You got to have a deep team that's well-rounded. You put shooters around Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks have really built a team around Giannis.
Yes.
The Phoenix Suns, I feel like they overachieved. Because when you look at their path to the finals, if it wasn't for injuries, they probably wouldn't have made it to the finals, honestly. As much as I love Chris Paul, this might be his last finals that he has a chance to make it to, because I know, the Suns are going to get better, but Chris Paul's just going to get a year older, and the Clippers will be healthy. The Nuggets, Murray got hurt.
Yeah, he'll be back. Lakers will hopefully be healthy.
I think Mitchell got hurt as well, didn't he?
He was kind of hurt, but he played pretty well. He played phenomenal. So
I think every team, Phoenix. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Suns. They had a great year. Like I said, I feel like they overachieved.
Yeah.
They did more than what they were expected to do. And,
absolutely.
But that being said, every team they faced was injured. So this was their chance to do it, because they probably won't make it back to the finals. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At least not within the next with the team they have right now.
And with just so many teams, being good, and with so many teams becoming healthy again, it's like kind of hard to, say, kind of how we were talking about last time on the channel. We were like, who, if injuries, were off, who would have made it, and we gave our predictions, and so a lot of people said the Clippers and the Nets, like, we're gonna make it to there, and so just to think that, if they wouldn't have been injured, we could have saw a completely different finals.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna jump right into the stats here, and kind of show off, what the Suns had, what they had working for them. So Devin Booker, not surprised at all, played the most points per game. He was averaging 40 minutes. Let's see here. I'm looking at this right. He averaged 28 points.
That's team leading, by the way. That's team leading.
Team leading, not surprised there.
Check out that plus minus.
Plus minus was 2 or 4. No, that's Dario Saric.
I was sorting like who had the most.
Oh, who had the best was Dario Saric. But he actually tore his ACL.
That's limited minutes.
So yeah, very
So
very limited.
Out of starters, Booker was probably had the highest plus minus out of like people with significant amount of minutes.
Oh yes. Let's see. He averaged 4 assists, which you're putting up 28 points a game. You're not gonna dish the ball out very often. Let's see. 3.5 rebounds. He shot 87.5% from the free throw line. 3-point percentage at 26.8. Yikes.
That's kind of tough.
That hurts. I mean, I know the Suns team were also very young. For everyone, first time playing in the finals except for Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder was the only one who had final experience, and he was in it last year.
And he lost, right?
Yeah, they lost to Lakers.
There was no player on either team that had won a championship yet.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild to see. On the series, he shot 45%. So Devin Booker played the best on the Suns. Chris Paul was right there, averaging 21 points. Let's see, 8.2 assists, which we kind of figured that. But oh my gosh, it was kind of crazy how many turnovers he had in the last couple of games. That really, I think, turned it around for them, and I think those were very critical points. And that just kind of sad to see with how much ball control he has and what he's able to do.
Yeah, leading to that big oop, he ended up turning it over, and then Giannis gets that big alley oop. Man, question for you, since I know you're more I love the game and I try to follow as much as I can, but you're consistent on the podcast. I'd say you follow the sport a little more than I do.
Yeah.
A question I have for you is, do you think Booker and Ayton, obviously not this year because one you could say they're a little too young, maybe a little too early. A few years from now, is Booker and Ayton, is that a 1 and 2 combination that can bring you a championship?
That's definitely a big question. I think Booker's there. For sure. This was DeAndre Ayton's first finals appearance. He did a lot better than what a lot of people were expecting him to do. I think he did better than kind of what I was expecting him to, especially, going up against Brook Lopez and Giannis, who were just kind of I would say, definitely Giannis is a better player, and Brook Lopez, not necessarily he's a better player, but he's just he's 7 foot, he's got a lot of length, so, it's someone hard to guard on the other end. But I think that can win you a 1-2 combination, but I think you got to have a point guard, some type of like Chris Paul, to
allow Booker to just be in his scoring role.
Exactly, because if Devin Booker has to bring up the ball every time, it kind of reminds me of the DeMar DeRozan when he was on the Raptors and he had to guard LeBron on every play. He had to shoot it. He was basically that one man thing. He playing 40 minutes trying to
do a lot.
And it's not like you were saying. It's not a one-man team. It's 10 type of team. So I think that definitely has it. I mean, I know there are kind of rumors if Chris Paul's going to stay or not. If he wants to go to the Lakers or not, I'm not sure. I know they're kind of looking at him and Russell Westbrook. That's for another day, another podcast. But kind of crazy to think. Not really sure what's going on with the Suns team. How much are they going to stay intact with the roster they have now?
Exactly.
Where are they going to improve? Because obviously you lost to the Bucks. So where you got to play? Say you play the Bucks again next year. Where are you going to be able to be better to be able to overcome that deficit that you had?
I mean, Ayton for sure had the biggest moment of his career in the finals. With the game-winning alley-oop.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
wow.
was that against the Clippers? Was that Western Conference Finals? See, I get all fogged up. Was that Western Conference? The Valley-oop.
Pretty sure that was the Western Conference Finals.
My bad. I thought that was Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I thought. So I'm tripping. There we go.
I think that was Game 6, if I remember correctly.
Of the Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
So in this playoffs,
5.
he for sure had the biggest moment of his career. It wasn't in the finals, but Western Conference Finals. That's a big moment for him. You think he could be that number 2 guy next to Booker?
I think he could. I think he definitely, the way that he's able to develop, the way he's able to play, and I think like I said, it comes down to development and just wanting to get better. And I think he can, and I think he will, and especially the coach that they have now, I think that he definitely they can be that one too. I think they can. The West is still stacked. It's going to be hard to, get there, but I think they definitely have potential to do that, for sure.
Yeah. Now, shifting the focus to Milwaukee, unless you had a couple more points for Phoenix.
No, yeah, honestly, that kind of like wraps it up
Okay.
for Phoenix. Just, those are the top 3 players that really played well. I think the only other player that really should have like stepped up was Jay Crowder, since he had finals
The veteran
experience.
experience, yep.
So, but other than that, I mean, sometimes he was like kind of spotty shooter. But other than that, I mean, I think
He had
think
good
played all
defensive
right.
presence, you know what I mean?
He did. Yeah, they were asking him to guard Giannis. He was asked to guard Giannis a lot. So, I mean, that's a big task to do.
Speaking of Giannis, he was giving you almost 40 minutes a game with a playoff leading 13 rebounds a game, 35 points a game in the finals. Dude, this guy put up historic numbers: 5 assists, a steal, 2 blocks. Oh my gosh, a 5 plus minus. I mean,
He played well. I mean, he deserved the MVP on that team. I know kind of some people were saying, well, should Chris Middleton get it and whatnot. And it's like, I understand. I can see where you try to debate that. You try and say that. But Giannis is just that superstar on that team. Yeah, Chris Middleton's going to help you. Like, that's why it's a 5-player team. But Giannis was there. Giannis was the one, like, you were the counting on. Like, Giannis was able to, just do more. The last game, Game 6, they closed out. He had
50 and like 15 rebounds, like 5
blocks, yeah.
Well, it was like 7 because a couple of them were goaltending. Anything close, he was just swatting it, bro.
Exactly. So to able to, like, I think that was one of the greatest closing games of all time. That was one of the close.
Speaking of Middleton, he provided a big second scoring option. 24 points a game with 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Chris Middleton, I mean that's a very important role that he's playing, And then you got Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
He's the only one that had a higher plus minus than Giannis. He had 6.2 plus minus.
Okay.
17 points, 2.2 steals, which I think was team leading. Yep.
That's huge. Steals,
Led the team.
turnovers.
Bro, he led the team in steals and assists.
He had, what was his assist?
9.3.
Wow, 9.3. So that's, he definitely, he had a lot of assists. He was playing well. With the steals, he was in there. He made Chris Paul turn the ball over Game 5. He stole the ball out of Devin Booker's hands and was able to throw it down to Giannis now. So, he came up huge. I said that in an earlier podcast that it was going to come down to Drew Holiday. Yes, we knew Giannis was going to put up his numbers. We knew that Chris Middleton was going to be spotty, every other game kind of, it's just how like Chris Middleton's been playing. But I said that Drew Holiday, it came down to what was he going to do? Obviously, the Bucks going to, they pooped the bed Game 2 or Game 1 and 2, and they laid an egg. They went down 0-2, and I was like, okay, I get it, sometime momentum. They're at home and things like that. But then the Bucks never lost a game after that.
And when they did go down 2-0, were you following? I feel like a lot of people were just jumping right on the Phoenix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was Phoenix. Were you a little bit hesitant to just count Milwaukee out like that, or were you, you know what I'm saying? Were you thinking Phoenix had it in the bag?
I was definitely hesitant to count Milwaukee out just because I knew they were a better team, and I was like, who's going to guard Giannis? Like, I just knew that Milwaukee was a better team, but I was like, there's so much momentum around the Suns, like, everyone's rooting for them, everybody wants them to win, so I'm like, okay, like, maybe they still have the advantage. They lose Game 3. Well, okay, Game 4.
Yeah.
Maybe they still have the advantage. Okay, well, Game 5, they're coming back.
I feel like their confidence was just taken as they started to lose a game after game after game. They're like, yo, we about to lose 4 in a row.
And that's exactly what
You
happened.
know what I'm saying? And you could see it. I feel like you could see it on the court.
And you really could, because those steals, those turnovers late in the game, turnovers will kill you at the end of the day. And that's exactly what happened to him. So, like I said, Drew Holiday, he was able to lock down, Dame like 3 or 4 years ago when he was on the Pelicans with AD and Boogie. So
He was All-Star that year too, wasn't he?
I think he
Drew
was.
Holiday, yeah.
So to be able to see that, and like I said, I knew that was a big factor coming in was Drew Holiday, and he stepped up and he did what he was supposed to do. So, like I said, congrats to the Bucks. They were able to win. They should have won, and they did. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Yes, they may have lost the first 2 games, but they didn't lose any after that. They showed why they should have been the NBA champions this year. I think if you would have had maybe the Clippers or the Jazz or a different team in there, maybe it might go 7.
Yeah.
But
or if Brooklyn stays healthy. I mean, I don't want to crap on anybody's parade.
That's true, though. I mean, it all comes down to that.
Brooklyn was putting a pretty good beat on them. They were blowing them out. You know what
They
were blowing them out.
They were, and so yeah, definitely that series healthy still goes to Game 7. I think.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah,
but
Milwaukee's a squad. One last question I got about Milwaukee is Drew Holiday their most, that like in terms of under the radar, like underappreciated. Is Drew Holiday their most valued player? Like they gotta hang on. It hurt losing him.
Yes, and I say yes because of what he was able to do in the finals, and you just see him averaging 9.3 assists. Steals 2.2. You see him with he had one. How many blocks did he have? He had 0.7, so he was third behind Giannis and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez and Giannis, which the tall guys you expect them to get blocks, but your point guard was third.
Getting it done on both ends of the floor.
So that's what I'm saying. Big defense of help. I think you've got to pay him. I think he only came on a 1-year deal. I'm not sure. I gotta look that up. But I think you got to pay the man.
Look that up.
You have to pay this man because obviously Giannis is still there. Chris Middleton's still there. You got to pay him. Brook Lopez spaces the floor. PJ Tucker's a dog. Maybe you bring someone in that. Not really sure. Obviously rosters change from year to year, different players, but. You got to pay Drew Holiday that bag because he deserves it. He was one of the reasons why that you won a chip. Yes, Giannis won you that chip. He did. But your role players, he's not really a role player, but, a star, he was there to step up, and that's what he did.
So it looks like Milwaukee locked him up. They realized, that they need this man. 4 years, $134 million contract extension. I mean, for sure. Because if you replace Drew Holiday with a league average point guard, say somebody that had a couple years back, Malcolm Brogdon, or just a player like that, they might, they might not win the finals.
No, yeah, that's true because, everyone plays different. Everyone's just different. So, like I said, we just want to congratulate the Milwaukee Bucks on a great year of basketball this year. Super, proud of them. Great for Giannis to win his winning chip. So he becomes one of the only 3 players to win an MVP, Defense Player of the Year, and be Finals MVP.
Man.
So he joins Akeem Olajuwon. I said that last name wrong, but you guys know who I'm talking about. And Michael Jordan. So he joins those 2 players.
It was cool to see him get it done because the storyline of it, getting drafted by Milwaukee, the whole thing.
Yep. Said he wasn't going to leave till they won a championship. So, hey. But I don't think he's going to leave anytime soon.
He said, let's do it again.
So, yeah. Hey, let's run it back. So, basketball's just getting better. These young stars are coming up. So, we'll save that for another podcast to talk about Trae Young. Talk about all the young stars who played in their first playoffs and how they did well.
Big playoffs.
So, absolutely. But now we're going to turn it over. And we're going to kind of get into Zach's segment a little bit. And we're going to talk about the UFC. We're going to talk about the fights that are coming up tonight that we're going to watch and, kind of give our predictions a little bit. So I'm going to let Zach here take it away. And he's going to kind of ask me some questions about it. I'm not too knowledgeable about it. But, Zach, take it away.
Man, I'm so stoked and pumped for these fights tonight. I'll check the rankings real quick. Besides the fact that these are 2 high level bantamweights.
So what's the weight class on that?
Bantamweight is 135.
Ooh, wow! I pay more than that.
Now, obviously they cut to 35, so they probably walk around at in the low 50s, anywhere from 50 to 55, and then the water cut down to 35.
Ooh.
That's what I know.
I remember when you had your weight cut, and I was like, man, you look a little different there.
It wasn't even that drastic. It was like maybe 9 to 11 pounds. These guys are doing like 20, 25.
That's wild.
Some dudes are doing even more than that. But you got Corey Sandhagen. He's the 2nd ranked bantamweight, and this is TJ Dillashaw's first comeback fight after coming off a 2-year suspension, getting caught using EPO, which is super. You gotta take that seriously, especially in a sport where I'm not taking an advantage so that I can get around you and score a hoop. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking an illegal advantage that's gonna help me hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not right at all. You know what I'm saying? I understand the whole competitive edge thing, but
sometimes too far is too far.
And it sucks to say because TJ Dillashaw is one of the most entertaining fighters. I feel like he doesn't need to take any type of PED because he's one of the most skilled fighters in the league. I mean, sorry, in the division in the UFC as a whole. His striking is so slick. I feel like he doesn't need, steroids or whatever. So we'll see how he looks in this fight coming back, because it raises the question, damn, he was a 2-time bantamweight champion. Was he using that stuff the whole time?
Yep.
Had he been cheating his whole career, or did he just? Because his side of the story is that he was dropping down, not just to 35. He was coming down all the way to 125. He was going to go down to flyweight and try to be 2-division champ. So he says he took this stuff to help him on the weight cut. Now, whether or not you believe that, I mean, I don't know. We might get some of those questions answered tonight. If he comes out and looks like the old TJ Dillashaw that was the champion, that was just lighting people up.
Joe Rogan's gonna ask his questions no matter what. I don't care if you're on the ground and you just broke your ankle. He's gonna get those questions in for you.
Yeah, Joe Rogan will get it done for you, bro. But I mean, besides the story of the steroids, these two guys used to be training partners. Years ago, they trained together in Colorado, and I was watching a video of Chael Sonnen talking about how he is friends with somebody close to both of them that trained with them, and he didn't say one way or the other who got the advantage, but he said when they used to train together, one guy would just mop the floor with the other guy easy. Like it was, he would just dominate. And I heard rumors it was Corey. I heard rumors that Corey was the one that was just dogging.
Wow.
Obviously, this was years ago. Both have changed their mindsets, changed their skill sets, gotten better in totally different areas. So I'm super intrigued to see how this goes down, man.
Okay, so with that kind of being said, who do you see winning this fight?
If I take my personal
bias out of it,
who
do you see winning this fight?
Man, these guys have similar styles. They both switch a lot. They're both strikers. If the fight is going to go to the ground, I think TJ will be the one to initiate the takedown. So if it stays on the feet, I think Corey's got the advantage. I see this fight being like a technical battle in the first round, maybe the first 2 rounds. They're kind of feeling each other out. And then I think when the first big moment happens, maybe somebody gets rocked, TJ gets a big takedown, or somebody gets dropped. I feel like at that point they're really going to start opening up, and we're going to see a great fight, because these two guys are so high level at what they do. Like they have their own games. Like they have such unique styles, and they've really mastered their own style. And man, if I had to go with an official prediction, I'd say Corey Sandhagen 4th round TKO, and it's going to be a barn burner, crazy fight.
Alright.
I think Corey's going to get it done.
That sounds super exciting. I mean, I'm excited to watch it tonight. And, you just love to see, people just beat the crap out of each other. Really, no matter who it is, I don't care if it's man, woman, doesn't really matter. Because we are watching some ladies fight tonight. So it's just, really cool to see, those badasses out there just kicking ass and just taking names. So, not everyone's trained for this sport. Not everyone can, not everyone's made for this.
Right.
And so the people who do it, I give great respect to them, because it's, I couldn't do it. This guy over here, he's a fighter, he's one in it, and I give him great respect for that. I know. Did you say something that you had a concussion a little while back?
Yeah, I had to take a few weeks off from the gym. I was set to go to Iowa to compete in Muay Thai Nationals. I was going to be competing in the C class, the novice class, which is 0 to 3 official fights. And then we had a hard spar. On Wednesday night, and I had lingering headaches the next Saturday at practice, and then just get different opinions from doctors, and ended up having to pull out of that competition, which really sucked. But we got another one coming up in October, and I'm feeling healthy, feeling ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
That's great to hear. I'm super excited about that. It is disappointing, not being able to go to Iowa, go to your next fight, but you know that health is so important. You know, you want to be healthy, not just because you want to be healthy for your next fight, but you want to be healthy, for the long term, and even after you're done fighting and things like that. So kind of going into that, I kind of wanted to ask you. I talked to you
real quick. I think I know where you're leading. I want to have one more question on Dillashaw and Sandhagen before we go to the next thing.
All right.
One quick question. As a casual fan, like from your perspective, if Dillashaw loses tonight, does his reputation, like, from everyone remembering him as the two-time champion, TJ Dillashaw, like, does all that kind of get tainted if he doesn't get it done tonight?
Well, kind of like you said earlier, media jumps to conclusions real quick, real fast.
Yeah.
I think it does take away from him. I think it just kind of like brings it down because it's like, okay, you were that two-time champion, but like you said earlier, was he using that whole time he was there?
We don't know.
Because then that's people just start to speculate, start to think that. But if he can be on his rocker tonight and he can get back to where he was, then I think no questions will be asked, like whatsoever. But I think if he loses tonight, it takes a lot away from him, and if he can't prove himself tonight, he's really gonna have to prove himself if he loses.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know his side of the story was that they took all his old urine samples and ran them for the same drug that he popped for in his last fight, and said it was all negative, all clean. But I also read that the only way you can find that drug is through a blood test. So they did all the urine thing as like you say, oh, all my urine's clean, but you can't even find what he was taking in urine. You can only find it in a blood test.
Okay.
So I feel like, man, I don't want to accuse him of always doing it, but
at the same time, you never know.
Former teammates were saying it way back when. Former teammates, Cody Garbrandt. I don't know if you've heard of Garbrandt. He's in the
Sounds
same
familiar.
He used to be his teammate. He said he's been doing it forever. So I don't know, man. But there's no place for that in the sport.
Absolutely not. It doesn't matter what sport it is. I mean, I don't care. The MLB is cracking down on that pitcher.
Sticky stuff.
Or that sticky stuff. So yeah, definitely. No room for cheating. No room for trying to get better illegally. Do it the right way. Do it the healthy way, and best man wins or best woman wins at the end of the day.
For sure.
Was there any other fights that you wanted to talk about tonight as well, or was that the only fight that you kind of wanted to really cover?
Just real quick, the co-main event, Kyler Phillips. I'm not sure the guy he's fighting. I haven't done too much research on him. I haven't seen him fight too much. But Kyler Phillips is supposed to be the next guy up. I think he's ranked 15th right now, 14th, but he's supposed to be. Sean O'Malley said he trains with him, and he's the best guy that he's ever trained with. Super athletic. Been doing it for a really long time, so I'm super excited to watch him fight, and hopefully he gets the job done.
Absolutely. Okay, so I did want to talk just a little bit about it, the Conor fight, because I know you're a huge Conor fan, and a lot of people were, Conor was talking a lot of smack. Dustin didn't talk too much smack. A lot of people, just a lot of crazy things were being said. So, but the main question I want to ask is, it came out reportedly that after he broke, because it looked like his ankle, but I felt like it was more kind of like
the bottom of his leg.
Yeah, like the bottom of his leg. It was like where he broke. And so obviously we saw him throwing kicks in the first round, heavy kicks, looking good. It was great. It was a great first round. We loved it. We loved to see it. What was going on? Reports came out afterwards that he had fractured, what was it? Was it
stretch fractures?
Stretch fractures on his leg. So with that being said, and he said you could ask Dana White, you could ask anybody in the UFC, the doctors that I had him. What do you think about that? Because you just talked about the illegal substance. So what do you think about if he knew that going into the fight? One, should he have fought? And two, should he not have fought? And how would that make people react? Kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or should he have fought and been well, if it breaks like it did, it breaks. So, how do you kind of feel about injuries going about that? Especially when it's a title fight.
Yeah.
It was a title fight, right?
It wasn't a title fight, but it was a big marquee event.
Okay, maybe potentially going to the title fight, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Zach, give me and the viewers your opinion on what really you think about all that.
I feel like Conor's in a unique spot because I don't know if he has ever pulled out of a fight. I don't know if he's ever canceled a fight due to injury or anything like that, because he talks so much crazy stuff that I feel like somewhere he's got to feel like, geez, like I can't pull out now. Like, you know what I mean? I can't say all this crazy shit and then be like, I got these stress fractures or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's almost obligated to, even if he's injured, like when he fought Chad Mendez with a torn ACL, he's like, I'm sure he wants to, you know, his like warrior spirit or his.
Like, you always want to fight, no matter what.
Yeah, but I feel like the entertainment side definitely plays a factor into it, because he feels like, man, I almost dig myself in a hole if I hype the fight up like this and then postpone it. So I feel like, man, if you just put that aside and really think about the longevity of your career, like, the smart decision is for sure to recover, you know what I mean, to go out there at 100%. So for sure, if I was him, I would have, you know, postponed it, got the treatment that I needed on my leg, you know, and all the pre-fight videos and stuff, you can see him icing his shins, putting his feet in, like, you know, cold buckets, cold tubs and stuff. So he was definitely, you know, dealing with some pain, some ailments down there, like the fight week. It looked like in both legs, if you watch the pre-fight embedded videos and stuff. So, you know, I believe him that he definitely did have the stress fractures, but I also believe that, you know, nobody told him to talk all that crazy stuff. He put himself in that position. You know what I mean?
He did.
And it's ultimately his decision. He made the decision to go out there and fight, just like when, you know,
he had torn ACL and he decided to still go out there.
And it worked out for him that time. It doesn't always, you know what I'm saying, play out like that. So he was coming out heavy with the leg kicks, no setups. He wasn't really setting up with the hands and putting the kicks behind it. He was just throwing the kicks, you know, with
hard kicks.
No setup at all.
Hard kicks.
Hard. And, man, you know, fighting is crazy. Anything can happen. You're super vulnerable. Like, not just physically, like, you lose a fight. Like LeBron got eliminated from the playoffs, first round this year, right? Has that ever happened before?
No, never happened.
People were like, wow, LeBron got, you know, eliminated. Wow, you know, Lakers have packed it in earlier this year. Bro, you lose a fight, people they're like, he's like a bad person. Like he's like your whole character is like, you know what I'm saying? It gets attacked. Like, fighting is the craziest stuff, you know?
Okay, so one more question before we wrap it up. You know, it still goes with the Conor thing, is what does this do to his career? Where do you see Conor going now? Since, I mean, obviously it's going to take him a while to heal up, things like that, get trained, you know, be able to be at 100% again. Where do you see his career going? Do you think he has to fight one or two more fights before then he gets a title shot? Or do you think maybe he just fights two or more fights for money? Like, where do you see him going?
I think he could do whatever he chooses. If he chooses to recover, make the comeback, try to go for another title shot, the UFC would be happy to promote another Poirier fight, or to get him to fight Diaz again, get him to fight.
Because people are gonna want to watch
anybody. Yeah, the UFC would definitely be happy to do that. If he wants to kick back and just chill, he can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's up to him. But I think he's such a competitor, and that he wants his name to be in the positive. Like, he doesn't want everybody looking at him like Poirier's the better fighter, and he's gotten spoiled with all the money, and now he's not this and that. He wants to be recognized as the champ, number one.
He had 2 belts at one time.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know if I guess Cerrone's the only fight he won since then.
Okay. So I guess, you know, kind of like, to really answer that question, you think he's going to get back into it? You think he's going to be able to?
I think he'll come back. Honestly, I think he'll have, I don't want to say average, but I think he'll have a normal career, you know?
Okay.
He's playing out like a normal MMA career, you know? Khabib is the only one to ever retire undefeated. A normal MMA career is, you have your ups and you have your downs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking crazy sport. So, you know, it's part of it, man. This is part of it, and I think he's come back from injury before. I think he can do it again. You know, in all the videos he's been putting out, he seems to be in like a positive mindset, you know, focusing on the road ahead and just ready to, you know, get to work. I saw him doing pull-ups with a You see that on Instagram? He's got his big cast, big boot.
Yeah,
on,
yeah, he
and
did.
He's doing pull-ups. Like, he's a competitor. He's hungry. You know, Poirier's just a heck of a fighter, and
Absolutely.
you know, got the better of him. The leg ended up breaking. If the leg didn't break, I think Poirier probably still would have won.
That was a big question, and I think I have to agree with you that just the way that he was able to, you know, that ground and pound, like, oof, that was a different ball game.
Man,
But thank you guys so much for watching this podcast today, or whenever you do decide to watch it. It is kind of a longer one on the sides, but we definitely wanted to really talk about the NBA Finals. You know, really give our thoughts and opinion, and we definitely want to talk about the fights because they can go either way. Kind of like as I was saying, it takes one punch, one kick, one this, one that, and the whole fight changes. Everything changes.
yeah.
And so you can be on top, and then all of a sudden let your guard down. Not even for 10 seconds. Boom, you're knocked out. So it's a crazy game. And so I just want to say thanks so much, Zach, for being on the channel today, and
Thanks
just
for having me.
so glad that we can produce this content and produce more content. I believe maybe so. We might go play some golf tomorrow. We're going to try and put some golf content on here as well. We'll see how that goes. We'll kind of experiment with it. So just be ready for that. We do have some merch with that. We have, I'm not really sure if I said it on the channel or not, but we have a golf ball merch. And so let me run and go get that real quick before. I didn't think about it before I started this video, but now that I'm here, the number one golf ball in the world. We are not sponsored by them whatsoever. So I just want to let everybody know that. But bought them, they're about $30 for a custom of them. So they come in a box like this. And they say, let's see if I can get this right. So they say Blue Haze Dreamers. And then if you turn it around to the other side, they have a state of Indiana on it. So super excited about these golf balls. Definitely going to use them tomorrow, but you know, not going to use all of them because definitely going to be memorabilia, just because it's part of the channel, and you know, we're just so excited. You know, we want to make shirts here soon, so that's going to be in the works or whatnot. So if you guys would like something like that, definitely drop your size below. Let us know. Let us know if you what you guys want us to debate, what we want to talk about, because you know that's what this channel is all about. It's not an argument. It's a debate. Zach's got one side, I've got one side on some things. You know, some things we agree on.
Go ahead. I had a quick idea. Maybe we give them a quick post-fight recap. You know what I'm saying? After the fights, tell them how it went, what we thought, this and that.
Absolutely. So we'll hopefully we'll do that tonight. We'll see how many wings we go eat at B-Dubs, or see how tired we are. But other than that, like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Corey, 4th round.